to change kind of the subject here real quick and talk about the tattoos. Because there's a lot of tattoos in this game and the significance of that.
Yeah, so the tattoos, they're what we call, it's part of the Rakyat tribe's kind of heritage. And Jason gets, so Dennis is one of the first characters you meet, and he tells Jason about the path of the warrior. So this is the path, the Rakyat tradition that Jason can follow to basically be strong enough to get his friends back from the pirates. Because obviously Jason doesn't, like, when he arrives on the island, Jason has no skills, no abilities, he can't shoot. He's like basically a whimpering kid, and he needs to learn pretty fast how to handle a weapon and how to get comfortable with people so he can rescue his friends. And the skills are basically, the tattoos are skills, right? So that when you choose a skill on the skill tree, another tattoo will appear on Jason's arm. So the different skills that you pick during the course of the game, it'll actually affect how the tattoo appears on your arm. And every time you buy a tattoo, like, Jason will actually look at his arm and he'll be like, "Oh, cool! I've got a new tattoo." Well, he doesn't say it, but you say it. It's cool.
Yeah.
But speaking of tattoos and mohawks, I don't know if anyone in the stream was able to come out to any of the PAX events last year, or I guess earlier this year. But the Far Cry team brought out like tattoo artists to do on-site tattoos at some of
Real
the
tattoos.
PAX events, like real tattoos. We filmed it. That was really intense. And then I think the most popular one was of the Mohawk Station, where we would actually give people mohawks, and it was really awesome to see the types of people that would go up there and get it done. Like, people I would not expect at all. Like
girl
hair that just,
with long hair went up and got mohawks, and the Far Cry sprayed across the side of their heads and stuff. It was really cool. I was very impressed with people's boldness.
Yeah, I was at PAX Prime, and seriously, the line from every morning, as soon as the show opened, people would be sprinting from the entrance to get to the Far Cry 3 Mohawk line. And like you said, there were people like, there was a guy and he had this like incredibly long hair, and like we asked him like, "How long have you been growing that?" And he was like, "Oh, 3-4 years." I was like, "Oh, wow, and you're just gonna get it all shaved?" And he was like, "Yeah, game looks awesome." I was like, "Okay,
it's pretty cool. Yeah,
and I see that we've escaped the drug fields, right? So now what are we doing?
So Max, he completed the mission, and then so whenever you complete a mission, the mission giver will, or you'll get in touch with the mission giver, and they'll tell you about where you can find the next main story mission. But because it's Far Cry, you're completely free to go do whatever you want. So you can hunt around. You can, like, Max is going to go take a boat and just explore. You don't have to go back to the next mission. You can really, like, you're always free to just explore and go off and do whatever you want.
Once I got a gun with a silencer on it, I was okay, because then I could sneak around and pick everybody off. Yeah.
You can put silencers on a lot of different weapons. Like, I really like putting a sound suppressor on an assault rifle, because then I feel like super powerful.
Yeah, that's great. That's a good idea.
So now Max is he's approaching another one of the outposts. So when he was in the boat, like, whenever you see a smoke column in the distance, it tells you that there's an outpost you can go and take over. So it's like having these kind of gameplay landmarks was one of the things that we really tried to do in terms of designing the island. We wanted to make sure that whenever you look around, you can always see something to do. So in the distance, you can always see a radio tower, and you can always see a smoke column. So even if you don't know where the next gameplay possibility is, you can always look to the horizon and you'll see something that'll attract your interest.
The views in this game are phenomenal. Like, I would just climb up to like really tall mountains and then look around, and like, it's a beautiful tropical island that you're on, or I guess a couple of islands really.
And I'm such a nerd, I whip out the camera and I always take a picture. Even, I don't know if the picture saves, probably not. It's probably just for my own, like, geekiness, but I totally have been taking pictures.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. It's kind of, if you can role play. I guess you could even role play a wildlife photographer if you really wanted to. And then you could be standing on a vista, taking in the beautiful surroundings, just having this wonderful serene experience, a beautiful blood red sunset, and then like 6 Komodo dragons attack from
Yeah.
behind, and you fall
That
down
legit
the cliff.
happens. What kind of weapons are there? I know that you start off with, I think, just a handgun. Um, but what kind of guns, like, can we expect like assault rifles and SMGs and sniper rifles, things like that?
Yeah, I mean it's an FPS, so you can expect a full suite of different weapon types. So we have a bunch of different pistols with different abilities. We have a bunch of different SMGs, a lot of assault rifles, a lot of sniper rifles, some launchers like grenade launchers and RPGs. We also have the bow, which is super cool. We have a few different long machine guns, and all of these weapons are customizable, so you can add different attachments to them, like silencers, like we talked about before, or extended magazines, so you can actually carry more ammunition per clip, so you have to reload less. And there are lots of different sights that you can put on. So like you can put different kinds of scope on the weapons, and you can also customize them as well with different paint jobs, which doesn't do anything except make you feel a little bit cooler. And it, and
That's
it,
good for
helps.
me. That's fine.
It helps you feel like the weapon is kind of your own creation. So you kind of personalized your own killing machine.
And you can buy ammo in this game. Can you also pick up ammo? Like, can you loot bodies in this game and pick up things from like the people?
Yeah, every enemy you kill, you can loot them. Just like the animals, you can skin all of the animals you kill. So yeah, you can loot any of the enemies, and you can. Some of that stuff you can use, like grenades and ammunition, and some of it you can actually sell at the stores where you can buy more ammunition. There's something about the bow that just feels very, very satisfying, especially from a long range. Like I try to do just the most ridiculous long range kills. It's because like the arrows don't disappear at any point. Like when you fire them, they really exist in the world until they hit the ground. So you can, like, I'll just try, just for the fun of it, to try and kill a guy from like 500 meters away with an arrow. Which,
Yeah.
I can stand and shoot at the same guy 35 times, but when I finally kill him, it's super rewarding.
People in the chat are talking about after you take down an enemy, can you move their body from where it lands, or is it just there and people will react accordingly in the world?
So yeah, one of the things about stealth is that when you kill someone, the body will be there, and if an enemy spots it, he'll go into alert mode, which it means that he doesn't know where you are, but he does know that there's a threat in the area, so he'll fall into a search pattern, and then he'll kind of try and find you. And obviously, if he finds you, the other enemies will quickly figure out where you are. But one of the again, it all comes down to like Jason's progression and the skills and the choices you make about the kind of warrior you become. One of the skills actually allows you during the takedown to drag the body. It's called it's called the drag body takedown. It's not complicated. But yeah, like when you perform the takedown, you can actually pull back on the left thumbstick, and then you can like drag the body and hide it like inside a building or in the jungle. Which means that you can really like that's one of the skills I always take as soon as possible, so I can become like a real stealth ninja.
Yes, I need that skill.
Can you explain a little bit about co-op? Do you know anything about that game mode, and like how many people can play it, and kind of just give us a little overview of it?
Yeah. So one thing we wanted to do with co-op was to it wasn't to impact the single player experience at all. So we really wanted to keep it. We didn't want to compromise Jason Brody's experience of being this like guy alone on the island trying to find his friends. So we actually built a completely separate island. We wrote an entirely separate story and created these 4 unique characters specifically for the co-op experience. So you get to it's still set in the same group of islands. So we have one large group of islands. Single player happens on 2 of them, and co-op happens on a different island altogether. So it's still in the same universe. Like these people still have a run-in with Vass, and they still have their lives affected by the piracy in the region. But it really is a separate story, and there are these 4 crazy characters that get brought to the island by external circumstances. But these characters, like when Jason comes to the island, he's a regular guy, and his experience on the island challenges him on many levels. But the co-op characters, like when they come to the island, they're already pretty broken as humans. Like they're pretty damaged characters. So they're actually a lot of fun to play through, and they have a lot of kind of banter between them as they play when they do different things. So it's fun to see that interaction between the different characters, and it's kind of like it's a good kind of analogy for how you play co-op with people you haven't met before, because basically these four characters have no reason to work together in a group. They're not the kind of characters that would ever get on well. Like I wouldn't put these four people in a room together and expect them to do anything productive. But like the co-op story kind of it brings them all together. It throws them into this crazy island. They have a single common objective, which is to get back the stuff that was stolen from them. So the situation kind of throws these four strangers together with a unified goal, which is kind of exactly what happens when you play online with three people you've never met before.
Is it the co-op online only, or is there like a local split screen option?
Yeah, you can do local co-op in split screen, and you can actually take that online as well. So you can be like we call it couch co-op when you have someone in the same room. So you can couch co-op with another two people online. So there are lots of different options.
Okay, and then I also wanted to touch on the map editor, which is kind of like a really big bonus in this game. Like, can you explain what the map editor is and how people can use it?
Yeah, the map editor, it allows players to basically build their own maps for multiplayer. So you can make maps for all of the different game modes that we have. You can play around with pretty much all of the assets that the actual level designers had on the development team. You can have access to all of the different terrain tools, so you can build the kind of island you want. You can make caves this time around, so we can have some interior spaces. You can add waterfalls and rivers and different types of water. And then we also have like a kind of a sandbox mode, which like it isn't about making maps. It's more just about experimentation and having fun. So you can like you can't validate and upload these maps, but you can actually play around with all of the different AI and vehicles and ingredients from the single player game. So you can make a map and you can throw some enemies in there, and you can throw some allies in there, and you can just see how they react with each other, and you can make like little battles. And I've already seen some crazy stuff on YouTube of like like a guy who built a huge mountain and put like 20 sharks on it, and the sharks all fell down the mountain. It was like we had no idea that the people would do this kind of stuff with the editor, and like the game's barely released in Europe, and there's already stuff on YouTube, which is pretty cool. Like I can't wait to see the stuff that people will create. Is really fun, and especially for me, because like the reason I got into level design in the first place was because I used level editors from other games. That was how I learned, and that was when I figured out I wanted to do it professionally. So to actually work on a game that gives the community a tool like that, a tool that got me into doing it professionally in the first place, is super cool.
Do you want to just give a rundown of like the basic stats of the game, like what consoles does it come out for, or platforms I should say, does it come out for, and what day does it come out, things like that?
Yeah, so it's actually already out in Europe, but it's going to be out next Tuesday, December 4th, in the US on Xbox 360, PS3, and PC, all the same day.
Nice. And what platform are you guys playing on here that we're watching?
Right now we're playing on Xbox 360.
Okay. And is the gameplay from console to PC, is it all going to be is everyone going to have the same experience, or is there going to be anything different?
No. The content is exactly the same across all experiences. So
Okay.
the draw distance, the number of objects rendered, it's all exactly the same on all platforms. The map editor is on consoles as well as PC. It's basically the same game across all platforms.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us, Mark. It's been really enlightening hearing about all the stories and things like that, and I think you've come up with a really great product. This is a phenomenal game.
Thank you. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'll pass it on to the team.
Yeah,
Because
please do.
it wasn't just me.
Yeah. This is one of the best. I don't know if I said this earlier, but this is like one of the best campaigns for a first-person shooter that I've ever played.